We're pleased to welcome to the program from Michigan State University, Danita Brandt, an associate professor of geological sciences, who has put out the challenge. Get off Chuck's back. Chuck is Charles Darwin, and you say if he were alive today, he'd be shaking his head. Why is everybody always picking on me like Charlie Brown? What leads you to say this?
Oh, well, recent discourse in the public, abuse of his ideas, misunderstanding, misuse of some of his work. It's an election year, and rhetoric is heating up, and facts are people are playing pretty fast and loose with the facts, and science is one of those casualties. So yeah, it's kind of timely right now.
There are a lot of myths created in political campaigns all the time. Let's talk about the myths of evolution. First of all, humans evolved from the apes.
Right. That's a very common misreading of Darwin's idea about descent with modification from basically a universal ancestor. Darwin was way ahead of his time in thinking that if you traced all of life back, we would end up with a universal ancestor, and so if you follow that line forward, then you could start tracing relationships. And what was misunderstood was that Darwin said that apes and humans share a common ancestor, and that has been misconstrued as humans evolving from apes, and that's a misreading. I like to tell people that train left the station 7 million years ago when one line split from that common ancestor and became Homo sapiens, us, and the other line split and became the modern apes.
Another of the things that's constantly being said in the debate over evolution and intelligent design, or whatever they're calling it these days, is that Darwin is really the Antichrist or the anti-God.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate portrayal, because if anyone bothered to learn about the man, he was a wonderful father. Father of 10 children. He was a very humble man. He was very thoughtful. So he did have a spirituality. He did train for the ministry. Never took a charge. He got distracted by this 5 years on the Beagle. But it's very unfair, because I think most people, if they knew him personally, would find him a very charming, wonderful person. So that's just unfair.
Survival of the fittest.
Okay, that is widely attributed to Darwin, and it's not his phrase. He did eventually use it in a later edition of The Origin, but that phrase came out of economics, and I believe a man by the name of Herbert Spencer. But Darwin's book came out, Origin of the Species, in which he talked about the struggle for existence, and then Spencer's work was there, and that phrase, survival of the fittest. So people just naturally kind of lump those two things together. I think survival of the fittest would fit better on a bumper sticker. So Darwin eventually did start using that phrase in later editions of The Origin. He had to capitulate. Everyone was using it, and so, okay, guys, we'll go with that phrase.
I think part of his problem is it's called the theory of evolution, and that's like saying the theory of gravity. That doesn't mean it's, just because they call it a theory doesn't mean it's not a fact. We scientists get in a lot of trouble with that word, because we use the word theory in a very different way than if you looked it up in the dictionary and the first definition. The common use of the word theory is like idea. Oh, I have a theory about that. When when an idea pops into your head. To a scientist, a theory is a statement that has passed a lot of scrutiny and tests, and it's been applied widely, and it has predictive capability. In science, theory is the strongest label we can give something. It's the strongest statement we make. So there's a language issue there that really gets in the way a lot.
Dr. Danita Brandt from Michigan State University's School of Geological Sciences, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Walt.
And get off Chuck's back.
This cause changing if it's beneficial. Species breeds and passes on its genes. And so it goes in evolution. Yeah, it's evolution. Yeah, it's Darwin's revolution. And it teaches us the history of life.